Welcome back to I Know What You Watched Last Week, where we discuss last week's horror movie views that we've trawled through streaming to find. And I thought we were going for a bit of a, theme.
Here on the Heathen Movie Channel. You've got to give a shout out to yourself.
Theme week. We've had Smut Week, we've had a few different ones. Don't go there.
This one has a theme?
No, that's what I was going to ask you, because you chose them.
The theme is, let's go back to what I was doing before, which is picking 3 random movies and watching them, then reviewing them.
Well, I can reveal that we have
Hang on.
Oh.
So, my nails are getting a little bit long. And I know you offered to cut them just before we went on air, because this is live.
Yeah, I'm your private manicurist.
But I just said it was too late. It's too late. It should have already been done because you are my manicurist, because you won't let me cut my own nails because you don't like the way I do it because it's too jagged apparently and dangerous. So instead, I get the full treatment, cut and file.
Mm-hmm. And you take it like a diva as well.
I have become quite used to it, but the lack of follow-up is certainly hurting your chances to be assistant to the director.
Johnny, you do realise that
Heathen.
manicurists don't come round knocking at your door to find you when you need your nails cut. You're supposed to go to them and let them know that you need your nails cut.
You need to come to me, show initiative. So anyway, as I was saying, this is not bode well, because not only are you going to be one of, we have an ensemble lead in Heathen, and you're going to be one of the 3. You're also a great crew girl. You can fix stuff on the go, stuff like that. But I've also offered you the plum role of assistant to the director, and this whole nail situation just doesn't show up well on your character for organisation and things of that nature.
Maybe you'll have to find someone else then.
So you outright rejecting assistant to the director?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Well, as plumber, I think you're not thinking about this, because you will get to, you will shadow me on set. We will walk on.
You are being so dumb. This is supposed to be a horror movie review show.
We will walk onto the set of Heathen.
Trying to explain our relationship.
The set will quieten. You will remove my cape and hand me my cappuccino with chocolate shavings and brown sugar. Then I will deliver my thought of the day, and you're only, the only thing required of you then is to hang on to my every word, because it's going to be very important. In fact, it's not thought of the day. Think of it more of a sermon, because the set is, as you know as an actor, paradise. It's heaven. And in the world of Heathen, I am God. So if you want to be assistant to the director, it's going to be a blast.
Now can I get back to the actual show?
Do you not want to mention anything about the cape?
No.
Okay, because not everyone can wear a cape.
No, I'm just...
And if anyone wants to fashion a black and gold cape for me for Heathen, I'm putting it out there.
So we have some familiar faces and names in a couple of these movies. With our first watch of the week, The Call.
The Call with Tobin Bell and Lin Shaye, who you're referring to, yes.
Absolutely. And we also have Robert LaSardo in the third film of the week, which
We've
is...
gone from first.
Which is... We saw it under the title Killer Inc. But...
Oh, you're going to school me now? You're going to tell me there's a second title?
There is... It's
oh, yes.
There's actually kind of 2 other titles, because I quickly looked it up on IMDb, and I quickly looked it up, and I saw that it was originally called Parlor, but it's currently listed as Anarchy Parlor.
Why? Just stick with Killer Inc.
Yeah.
So then what do we watch second?
This is a lovely little surprise that I've kept from you, rather than doing the usual thing and being like, Johnny, I've completely forgotten.
Yeah,
I decided
to go now.
Expose myself.
What?
On our
This is not that kind of show.
And reveal that I have zero recollection of what the second film is, except that it had terrible.
You don't know what it's called?
I don't know I don't know what it was called. I don't know what it was about.
Clowntergeist.
Oh my god, Clowntergeist.
How can you forget that title?
How can I forget that?
Do you not see what they've done there? Merge.
I think I actually tried
It's
to
a
erase it
merge.
from my memory. That's why.
A merging of clown
Worked really well.
and poltergeist.
Clearly.
Clowntergeist.
Yeah, I get you. I'm with you. You can just tell from a title like that it's going to be...
The cool Clowntergeist Killer Inc.
Yeah. That's it's Kerr week.
Yeah. So what's your order?
Well,
Do it 3-1 this time.
yeah, 3-1. Third place has to go to Clowntergeist. Terrible. I wish you hadn't reminded me what it was. Then, second place, I am going with The Call. So I'm giving Killer Inc. /Parlor /Anarchy Parlor the gold.
It's hard for me to decide what was bottom, because number one was outright for me. So bottom place as of right now, this second, is Killer Inc. In second place, of course, The Call, and outright at number one, Clowntergeist. How could you forget Clowntergeist?
God, I feel like I might need to question
Clowntergeist.
everything
Everything you know about everything.
about our relationship, because that film made me want to die.
Clowntergeist.
So what order are we going to go in then? Should we just go in the chronological of watching?
No, let's go in
No?
your 3-2-1.
Okay, so we start with your top
Start
place.
with my top pick of the week.
Get it over with. for me.
Clowntergeist.
How is this? Okay, what did you like about this to make it your?
What's not to
Top
like?
pick.
What's not to like? It starts off. What do we see? Red balloons. What does that remind you of? What does it remind you of?
We all float down here.
Oh, I was thinking of Nina. 99 Red Balloons, which is a crap English language version of the Luftballons. But I guess Pennywise as well would also remind me of that. So we've got that straight away. Who doesn't love that? And we also open. It's important to note that it's
It's important to know.
It's important to note that it
Write it
is
down, kids.
9:08 p.m. on Monday, the 28th of May, and it's 9 minutes until the attack. So by my maths, that's going to be a 9:18 p.m. attack on Monday, the 28th of May.
Wait, did you just say it's 8 minutes past and it happens in 9 minutes? And you're saying that adds up to 18?
9 minutes until attack, 9:17.
I was okay, 17. I thought you said 18. I was like, Johnny, your maths.
I might have said
really
said
taking
nine
a hit here,
I may
unless you're
have
making your
said-
comment on the film.
I may have said that. Who knows? I don't know.
He's not a
I'm
mathematician.
too far gone now. I'm not a mathematician. I am God on the set of Heathen. Now, we open with a woman on the phone after the red balloons. Remember this? You recall this?
Kind of. I remember the opening woman being really annoying.
She's looking after a house and she's told not to touch anything.
No, she's not looking. That's not even the opening, though, is it?
No, the red balloons, which I said was the opening, is the opening.
Yeah, something freaky is happening. She goes off to her, I think it's her uncle's place.
Why has she been told not to touch anything?
I don't know, he's a weirdo, I guess.
That was her uncle?
That was her uncle.
That's another family reveal on this show. Remember when you revealed to me that Julio from
Oh, yeah.
that other movie last week?
From that one.
He
was
had
that,
an uncle
yeah,
in the
and
army.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so she's on the road. She runs away from... I couldn't tell if it was her partner or her dad, because it was really weirdly played. She's in the car.
So if her partner
She
and
calls
her dad want to kill her, what does that say about her?
No, he was trying to protect her, I think. But she was like, oh, it's not going to work, so I need to get away.
Mm.
Goes to her uncle's place, but then she seems super calm when she's there. Even though I'm assuming she knows something bad is supposed to happen.
Well, she's sitting around in
She's
the
not
dark.
supposed to touch anything. Yeah, the lights go out. We get the whole, like, going down to the basement thing. And the last thing for her, thank God, because she was really annoying me, is she calls her uncle again and says, hey, I know you said I can't touch anything, but can I cover that clown statue?
We don't have a clown statue. out comes Ribcage the clown.
Yeah.
Ribcage.
So it wasn't a statue, it's Ribcage the clown. But that conversation was so awful. That was so unrealistic.
I thought the opening of the movie was the zenith of the film.
That could very well be true.
So at this point, I'm well into it.
Wow. Okay. Carry on then.
It moves on then to what seems to be, I think she's trying to portray a stoner girl is moving out of a house away from these. At first, I thought they were two nerds, and it turns out it's the main girl and her best friend.
Oh yeah, the super stoner girl.
Super stoner girl, yeah, who doesn't come back or anything like that. So they're moving out. The stoner girl's moving out of the house of our main character girl and her best friend, who now live together by themselves. And we then quickly find out that they work at an ice cream parlor.
Yeah.
And the main girl, she hates clowns. Of course, she hates clowns. She's the main girl. And they're just working their ice cream parlor shift. And then the sheriff walks in.
Yeah.
And he's got news about a curfew because there's a killer out there. Remember the sheriff?
Yeah.
You know, this is an instance when the director has, he's planted a seed and magic has sprouted. It's an instance of director, actor coming together, and it works. Karen, it simply works. Remember the sheriff?
I still remember the sheriff, yes.
What did you think of that performance? Do you remember the performance?
Well...
Do you remember his outfit? The wardrobe department have outdone themselves. I was like, for a second, I was like, am I watching a movie or has the sheriff just walked into my living room?
I don't know. I just remember it all being so crap.
It simply works.
So crap.
It's an intriguing performance. As I said, there's a curfew now and a manhunt. So the sheriff has warned our ice cream parlor girls. And also there's a guy called Pops who wears that funny paper ice cream hat. He's like old school ice cream guy.
Yeah, he has an ice cream van.
Who also works at the parlor. Yeah, and he's got a van.
Oh yeah, and when the girls find out about what's, the curfew and all that, one of them is super excited about it. And I was like, you've just found out that a teenage girl or something has been killed. And you're like, oh my God, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
But that is... And she's not even supposed to be a bad character. She's supposed to be just like...
Well, it's the main girl and her best friend. Do you recall the plan that they came up with to stave off danger?
Yeah, they were going to shout something and then run away, not help each other.
If one of them gets attacked, they'll shout out, "Stranger danger!"
Stranger danger!
And then other them will hear stranger danger and they'll know that, this killer that is at large, the Clowntergeist.
What is the point in having, a code word if it's stranger danger? Why wouldn't you just say run or he's here or something? Because there's no code in stranger danger.
It's quite a lot to get out as well, just say a one syllable word rather than 4 syllables.
And also I don't think they use it a single time.
No,
they get attacked and they just do the usual thing.
The plan has gone to pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those girls, like you say, they're quite excited about Clowntergeist being at large, and I thought, yeah, they're not taking this seriously at all. And that plan just seemed, there's leaks in that plan. I'm not sure that's gonna anyway. So anyway, this is Clowntergeist, and this is 2017. What is 2017? The year of the clown, the year of clowns, the year of red balloons, the year of bloody sinks. Right? So it's 2017. The It remake has just made 700 million. So what do you do 3 days after it gets released? You release your own clown movie, Clowntergeist, and you put red balloons in there. And 700 million makers of Clowntergeist are going to be quids.
Do you know what the budget was for this?
No, I don't.
I can only
But I do know some financial matters of the movie.
I do remember from this one just being in pain from the audio mixing and ADR, and every time they'd have background noise playing, but it would be paused every time they had a bit of ADR come in. I think
it was last week I said, I can do ADR quite simply, easily. So once again, if anyone's out there looking for any little bit of help, because a lot of people need help. Anyway, back to 2017. It's the year of the clown, the year of red balloons, the year of bloody sinks, the year of 700 million box office. Right. So the people, they love Pennywise. They've gone nuts for Pennywise. But just wait until they get a load of Ribcage the clown. And not only does he have red balloons, he's got red balloons with, times and places written on them because he's a clown. So much like Pennywise, he's on a tight schedule or a time schedule. Whereas Pennywise is more, I'm going to come back every 27 years and do some messed up stuff. Whereas, Clowntergeist is more, it's 1422 Pilates balloon. And it's like 1,530 hours Welsh lesson.
Yeah.
And then 1,700 hours to 1,900 hours.
Don't recall seeing any of
food
those
shop.
on the balloons.
Food shop. It's gonna be a big shop. Then murder. So he's got to fit in his murders, Clowntergeist, in between his very tight red balloon schedule, which he's written out himself. So do you like his organisational skills?
I like that he uses these red balloons to build the tension in his victims and threaten them. That's what he's doing.
So you did like that. So you did like this movie, and you like that Ribcage is on a tight schedule because you're an organised kind of person. You like to organise stuff and put them into boxes and folders and whatever. So Ribcage, he's probably got a Rolodex of his schedule as well.
We've also found out that Ribcage the Clown is like some kind of demonic entity, right? Like he's not.
Well, he's many things, but when you mentioned the girls doing making up their stranger danger plan.
Well, you mentioned it, but yes.
Before they come in, we were also introduced to the redneck guy, and the redneck guy's hanging out in his house in the dark, and he's carrying his bow around, and he's got his redneck hat on.
No, that's the guy that the original girl ran away from when she went to her uncle. That's the one I couldn't tell. I think it was supposed to be her daughter. I think that was her dad, and he was trying to protect her from Ribcage, but I guess she thought, it's not explained why she left, but maybe she didn't think he could do it, or she didn't want to put him in danger. Either way, she drove away, and that's when she went to her uncle's and the clown statue incident happens.
Not sure about that, but anyway,
true.
We've got this redneck guy in a cap, and he's hearing noises in his house and stuff, so he's introduced. I just wanted to say that he was there, and it was his.
So he knows about Ribcage.
It was his sink. Yeah, he knows about Ribcage, and he's always walking around with his bow. Mm-hmm. And he's always got his bow. That's how we know that he's a redneck with his cap and his bow. So now we're back to the redneck, and he's in his house, and the sheriff is pulled up outside his house in his car. They have a conversation on the phone, and it's top notch. Do you remember that conversation? The sheriff, the sheriff is back. This is the stellar performance in the movie. Like I said, it works. It works. Then it turns out it was Redneck Man, right? We're in your ice cream parlour now, and I've written surly transaction with sleepy dismissive guy, because the guy now, it turns out it was the redneck guy. He's wearing a suit now and no cap, so I didn't recognise him out of his redneck get-up. Remember that?
Oh, I mean, Do I need? Sure.
And he's ordering coffee from the ice cream guys back in the parlour. And they tried to kind of engage in conversation, but he's not having it at all, is he? He doesn't want to engage with anything. Well,
because his daughter's gone missing, and they're trying to ask him.
I know that his daughter's gone missing, but the thing is, he then goes and sits down, and our main girl just walks up to him and says, "What happened to your daughter? It's happening to me." And all of a sudden, he's not dismissive. He's like, "Sit down."
Yeah, I do remember that.
Then they have a little powwow.
That was so dumb.
Yeah.
That was so dumb and so expected, but the way they did it was just. Yeah, par for the course, really, with what we've seen so far in the film.
They have a little powwow, and they talk about little, they get down to the nitty gritty about what is going on with this Clowntergeist fella.
Is that when they find out that it's some kind of
I don't think
demonic
so.
thing?
No, I think it's revealed towards the end by Pops.
No, because I swear, the dad guy, the one you keep calling the redneck,
that's what he is.
He says he seems to know a lot about him, and he's like, yeah, it is a demonic entity, but it's in a physical human body. So
but it's Clowntergeist, so it's a ghost, it's a poltergeist.
So in theory,
it's Clowntergeist, it's not a demon.
If we kill the body...
Don't care what they say.
If we kill the body, then it's all over. And that's why he has that crossbow on him all the time.
You seem quite fixated on, what Clowntergeist is. This is the second time you come back to it. So is that what's kind of gripped you about this feature?
Well, yeah, because it was dumb. It was so dumb. And we get a scene where... So basically, after they have that powwow... He's like, well, I can protect you. And that's when he explains all this stuff. And he's got his crossbow.
A bit later on, yeah. He's got his crossbow, yeah.
He's got his crossbow. And he's like, just stick around me and I will help you if he turns up. And for some reason, she's like, no, I'm just gonna go off on my own again and do what I was doing, which was not working whatsoever.
Well, anyway, let's get back to the powwow. I was thinking, when all this information was being leaked between their conversation, you know, if this guy's so depressed, what's he doing hanging out at an ice cream parlour? Doesn't exactly scream depression to me.
Depressed people not allowed coffee?
Well, also, why is he dressed up in a suit in the ice cream parlour? It's like, why can't he just go in his regular clothes like he's seen in the rest of the movie?
Maybe he's got a job.
You know, does he come for the coffee, but he stays for the 99 flake?
Or maybe
his daughter liked it.
Maybe it was after his daughter's funeral or something.
But the thing is, the problem is, I'm thinking about this more than the writer and director are. Maybe the actor has some kind of idea about why he's at the ice cream parlour, even though he's, you know, depressed as shit. I think that's the last place I'd find myself is at the ice cream parlour. That's just me.
It's a happy place, why not?
Yeah. So now, it's very important to note that it's Tuesday the 28th. Remember I said it was Monday the 28th?
Yes.
Right, now it's Tuesday the 28th. 27 hours before attack. So it's Tuesday the 28th. I may have rushed the first date, but I just left it because it's my note. So my note says Monday the 28th. Now it's Tuesday the 28th, and we're now 27 hours before attack.
Yeah.
Why would we need to know we're 27 hours before attack? Why can't we just say it's the 28th now, or it's just Tuesday?
Because that's what they did with the first one. There's supposed to be like a countdown thing, and he leaves the balloons to
27 hours
countdown.
Before attack. Are we still 3 hours in Monday at this point? Because it might be just 24 hours before the attack. See what I'm getting at? Anyway, this is the first instance of the girls are driving in their car. You've raced well ahead. We're sort of at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, dear
right?
Lord.
The girls are driving in their car, and they're arguing. They're already arguing.
Oh, God.
Right? And
how interesting.
As they're arguing, they don't notice it, but Clowntergeist at the side of the road. And we see him through the window, but he doesn't do anything, because suddenly the girls come to a body in the road, and they get out, and it's the sheriff. The sheriff's dead. They've killed the sheriff.
Well, Clowntergeist killed the sheriff.
My favourite...
Right?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter who's killed him.
If
I'm the director of this movie, I'm like, look, I need this guy. I haven't got anything else for this movie, so just kill someone else off. I need to keep the sheriff. But instead, he's over. So I thought I was over the movie, but it turned out I wasn't. Anyway, Clowntergeist now steals the girl's car.
Yeah, and drives off with it.
But before he drives...
And parks it up at their house, I think, doesn't he?
Before he drives off, of course, he
inflates
some red balloons in the back of the car.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, has he written clutch left, brake centre, gas right? Because
maybe. How often does a Clowntergeist drive?
Clowntergeist seems to drive pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, he knew he wasn't struggling.
I don't know why he did it. I don't know why he took it back to their home. It was a bit bizarre seeing a demonic clown driving off in a car.
It's almost like Clown Memento. He's got messages everywhere.
Do you know what you also jogged my memory on? Because I seem to remember a lot of the actual facts and details.
Facts.
Yeah, which you don't.
What the fact
but
this movie was number
that
one.
has just come back to me, which you're going to try and berate me.
Are you going to get too far ahead again? I've got a lot to get through. It's Clowntergeist.
Is Clowntergeist himself?
Hang on, no. Look, you're ruining everything. Now, you clearly need reminding of the genius of this movie.
I feel like you could pick up the pace.
After he drives off, this is going to be a 4-hour special. After he drives off, we've got a character called Jonah as well, who also hangs out with the two main girls. And Jonah has been kidnapped by Clowntergeist. Clowntergeist has tied him to a chair and then just left him. So that'll show him. He's just going to tie him up. You know, I'm the Clowntergeist. This guy's going to know I mean business. But then the two girls come round and they wake him up. And it was your favourite part when he wakes up, because he's asleep in the chair, he's been there for a while. And then there's acting. You awaken.
Oh, I already did it.
And he does awake. I know you did. I'm just saying. That's the direction that he's been given.
Sorry, I'll be better.
And once again, out the park. Not quite on the level of the sheriff, but at least Jonah is still in the movie at this point. So then that'll show. That'll show him. Jonah's not going to fool around again, because the Clowntergeist have tied him up and left him. Now it is now. We're now waiting for a 2200 hours and 17 attack. Right, but before the attack can happen, someone's driving in the car. The camera is focused on the radio. The DJ is talking. So before this 10:17 attack, Clowntergeist gets a shout out over the radio. He gets a shout out from the DJ that he's about to go and do his business. So in terms of the schedule, I imagine that Clowntergeist phoned in the radio station at, say, just gone 10. And he's like, look, I've got an attack happening at 22:17. Can you put the shout out on the radio to come out at around 22:15? And then that should fit right into my Red Balloon schedule without any fuss.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So the Clowntergeist gets a radio shout out before he kills people. And then we see the redneck again, and he's got his bow again. He's just hanging out. After seeing redneck with his bow again, we are then introduced to our first dirty face person. Because if something goes wrong with you in this movie, you get mess around your mouth like you're a toddler who's been eating chocolate unsupervised, and you get warp voice. So you get chocolate mouth and warp voice if something is wrong with you. And redneck has seen this chocolate face, you know, chocolate all over its mouth with warp voice entity.
Wait, are you talking about the spectre of his dead daughter that he sees?
The spectre of his dead daughter? Well, I know his daughter's dead. I don't remember the spectre.
Yeah, she taunts him, be like, it's your fault.
Yeah, I do remember that now, yeah.
So that is what you're talking about.
Well, what? So the daughter's the one with the chocolate all around her mouth and the warp voice. So, all right, maybe she is. But now it's important to note, right?
We watched the same movie, and I have no idea.
We're on a schedule. It's now Wednesday, May 30th, and it's 17 hours until attack. Ooh. So I'm not sure where we started. I remember it was like 9:08, leading into a 9:17 attack. Then we were on the 28th. On a Tuesday instead of Monday.
Oh my god, we've already discussed this.
So now we've got the main girl who works at an ice cream parlor. She's sitting in Pop's van. Remember the scene?
Yes.
Pops is in his van.
Pops gives her a ride home.
As I mentioned, the main girl, she doesn't like clowns. So Pops hands her a clown sickle, and on the wrapper it's got a clown, and she's like, they're the worst. And he's like, tell me about it. And I was thinking, I know why she's got something against clowns. We know that she's scared of clowns, but why doesn't he like it?
Because he's also scared of clowns.
But this is his business. This isn't good salesmanship. He's got to move these clown sickles.
That's why he offered her one.
What, just to get rid of it?
Yeah.
No one's biting.
Well, no, because he then gave her a non-clown one.
And while they're having this conversation in the front of the ice cream van, we get a moment of true horror where it's revealed that Clowntergeist is in the back of the van. Don't get too scared because it's about 2 p.m. and it's sunny. And Clowntergeist in the back is thinking, what can I do? What can I do to, get these people? So what he does is he finds a box of what I imagine would be like ice cream cones and just knocks them on the floor, making some noise, to which then Pops and main girl react to. So after that scare, I wasn't sure if I could go on any longer.
I should change your panties.
Yeah. And now we get the girl. They've been arguing in the car. And I should mention, after the argument in the car, they did make up.
So we've left Pops' ice cream van now, is what you're saying. Because you've skipped a bit that Pops gets, attacked by Clowntergeist after she's left the ice cream van.
Well, that's in the overarching story of Pops.
I'm sorry, it wasn't dates and times, so it's not very interesting, is it?
Look, this is Wednesday the 30th of May, alright? Now our two main girls, after they had an argument again at some point, and they're hugging again. They're like, "Oh no, I love you, I forgive you." No, there's a lot of heart to hearts in this movie between the main girl and they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad you were okay. Where were you?" We get that for the second time, and now the redneck is standing in his kitchen in the daytime. What's he got? He's got his bow. He's always with his crossbow.
Yeah,
and like I say, he's talking to the main girl like you already brought up.
Oh, and also, what's he called? Ribcage. Ribcage.
What's he called?
Ribcage has been terrorising the redneck dad.
This is Ribcage the clown.
Despite the fact, so it was actually after his daughter. He got his daughter, but because he seems to know so much about Clowntergeist, Ribcage doesn't like that. So he's trying to get the redneck guy as well. And be like, "Don't fuck with me." He writes that on a balloon, doesn't he? Very threatening.
Well, we have to write on the balloon.
Yeah, well, he doesn't talk, message across. So that's what you do.
So now it's Wednesday the 30th, still Wednesday the 30th, except for now it's 2:16. 12 hours until attack. This is information that the director has given us on the screen in the form of text.
And that you are now receiving from Jonathan.
And now the girls are arguing about the plan. And the plan from the redneck is, he's going to use one of them as bait.
Yeah.
But the best friend, I think, doesn't want to use this bait plan. So they have another argument. But then now Jonah's there. Jonah shows up.
Yeah.
You know, he's back.
Great.
And the Clowntergeist appears. So he's just come through the front door. So they already know that a Clowntergeist on the loose. They just left the front door open. And here comes a Clowntergeist in his giant shoes. And he starts stomping around.
Can I now
He's stomping
talk
around.
about
But then he
the
skulks
stomping?
away after the redneck
No?
gets
Okay.
him. No. So now,
so the redneck-
I was about to say, it's now become apparent at this point that Ribcage is just a man in a dirty rented suit. Because before this, we've only seen Ribcage in the dark, in the shadows, and now they've revealed him. And this seemed to jazz you somewhat.
This was, well, you rewound it as well, because we couldn't tell. The first physical, real moment we have of Ribcage sneaking through a hallway and into a bedroom, we rewound because we're like,
Had to
is this
stop it.
supposed to actually be Ribcage, or is this supposed to be like a person parodying something? Because it was, I mean, just the most
You have to see it to believe it.
awful idea I've ever
it was great.
seen
What-
for a paranormal clown.
I'd say, when we stopped it and rewound it to check, hang on, is that supposed to be Ribcage the clown? When we did rewind, then it was
What are they
revealed
doing?
that in fact it was Clowntergeist. You know, that it just made this movie even better for me. The
And then
fact
we
that
got
that
to
was-
see a lot
that was
more of it
Ribcage.
later on when he
But this is 2017, it's the year of the clown. People are going to love it.
Why
Right?
would you have a clown that's like crawling and got his legs bent like he's being some kind of spider scorpion thing? I'm like, that's not clownish.
I'm not sure he's made it to full man yet. The demon has him
It's
so almost
bad.
early man with bad posture and stuff like that. But don't worry, even though Clowntergeist has broken in with his stompy shoes,
Mm-hmm.
Jonah attacks him with a broom in the kitchen.
The good old broom. That's what I reach for when I'm looking for a weapon.
Doesn't work out too great for Jonah because the Clowntergeist gets on top of him and he puts some black tar on his face. So now Jonah's got a dirty face, much like the chocolate mouth face person that I've previously seen. So it's another dirty faced person. So now,
Maybe that's just what Clowntergeist does.
as
to
I
us.
mentioned, this all started on Wednesday the 30th at 2:16. It's now, after Jonah's dirty face time, it's now Wednesday the 30th still, except for it's 11:16 p.m. and the girls are back at the ice cream parlor chilling, and it's all like, oh my god, that was scary. And then they eat some ice cream. So it's over.
Yes,
It's
because
over.
Ribcage is in the human body, as we found out
Hang
from...
on. They now have another I'm sorry heart to heart. We can't just skate over that.
But you're skating over the actual...
You go.
Thank you! Because they thought Ribcage is in a human body, and you kind of skimmed over the fact that they did get Ribcage,
No,
and
that's
so
not
they think
important.
he's dead.
That's not important.
They think he's dead.
What's important is Wednesday the 30th, 11:16, right? And the girls just seem to be writing off this attack from Clowntergeist.
Because he's dead.
And they're just eating. But then they
They're
start.
safe now.
But the thing is, Jonah is now back. Jonah walks into the ice cream parlor and he announces that he's got a new phone. So he's got a new phone and he hasn't got black stuff on his face anymore. So it's happy days for Jonah.
I'm so glad you found this really important to share.
So Jonah's got, well,
And
it's in
silence
the
me.
script. It's in the script. The dialogue.
I will not be silenced.
Jonah enters ice cream parlor, announces he has new phone. Excited. He doesn't have black face, chocolate mouth anymore. Good day for Jonah. So Jonah's happy. And they then question if Clowntergeist is really dead. Is he really gone? Mm-hmm. And they have more of a conversation, but it became really apparent to me that these guys really are good friends. They really are good friends. So now it's Thursday the 31st, 12:09, 2 hours until attack, right? So we're looking at a 2:09 a.m. attack, right? And there's a Clowntergeist at the window. Some nice cinematography there. In the main girl's bedroom. Then he kidnaps her and he ties her up as well. But instead of tying her up and just leaving her like he did with Jonah, he's learnt his lesson. And instead he ties her up and feeds her her own dog.
Oh yeah, that was such a weird... That was so weird. Again, the reason I keep bringing up the fact that this is supposed to be some entity in a human body is not just for plot reasons,
Clowntergeist.
but it just... When they have scenes like this, so he just ties up the mate first,
He's learnt
then
his
he's
lesson.
tying her up, And then he's, feeding her. This was supposed to be some really gruesome, horrible, like, oh my god, he's force feeding her own dog. Which, I mean, it sounds worse, me just saying it like that, than what they managed to portray.
If I recall...
And why is he doing it?
Doesn't Clowntergeist
What did the dog ever do?
He just kills a dog. Like, it's not like the dog is introduced and we get to know the relationship between the human and the dog. So that's what made it good as well. So just, here's a dog and now it's dead. Oh, it's your dog. Oh, now you can eat it. Oh, wait,
no, we do. Because we get that stupid scene with the... You know, we recently did an Urban Legends
This is Clowntergeist.
Special, and we get the Urban Legend thing in this before the dog is dead, because she's got the dog at the bottom of her bed.
I said it out loud, didn't I? Urban Legend.
And then you just, you know, you hear the, like, lick, 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 lick sound, and then you see the dog over there, and you're like, oh, it's... Why is a clown under her bed licking her hand?
Well, it's Clowntergeist. So now she's been fed her dog, and he's done it again. He's just gone and left her. So now the best friend comes and rescues her, and now they're with Jonah in a car, and they're being pursued by, you know, Clowntergeist again. He's in the car, so he can drive because now he's in hot pursuit of Jonah and the two girls.
Is he in the ice cream truck, or is it just a car?
Yeah, it might be. Actually, it might be the ice cream truck.
And which suits a clown way better than just a regular one.
While they're being pursued by the clown, the radio's on. Great. And we know there's going to be another, you know, what time was it going to be? 31st. So 2 hours into the attack, the Clowntergeist has managed to phone in another shout out. And the radio DJ is like, hey, this is another shout out to Clowntergeist, who's going to attack in exactly 17 minutes. Something like that. So
why do I not remember that
Clowntergeist gets another radio shout out before.
This guy's just so popular.
Then the Clowntergeist, pretty sure he gets Jonah, but not really, because Jonah's still alive, except for he has chocolate mouth face and a warped voice. Are you following me?
So he's not alive then, because that would insinuate that he's one of those
He's alive, but not alive. We are now 20... So we got rid of the day. There's no more day, but it's now 25 minutes until attack.
Thank God.
And the Clowntergeist, he's got Pops the ice cream man. He's got him like a headlock. But, and I did not see this coming.
Yeah, and Pops is there saying like,
Pops
save
is in
me,
on it.
Save me.
Pops is in on it with Clowntergeist.
He says at one point to her though, the main girl, he's like, in this headlock, he's like, save me. It's your last chance. And it turns out, the reason he's saying it is because Pops, little ice cream man, actually controls Ribcage.
Yeah, he's ordering him about in foreign.
Yes, so dumb.
Pops is like saying foreign stuff to Clowntergeist.
So during the day, he sells ice cream, but in the evening,
Hungarian or something like that.
He likes to terrorize people who are scared of clowns, which he himself is, apparently. Yeah, and he wants to set them free.
So it's still Thursday the 31st,
so dumb.
And we were told 12:09, 2 hours before attack, so a 2:09 a.m. attack. Now it says 25 minutes into the attack. But as Pops has now revealed that he's with Clowntergeist, he then says to Emma, at 2:31 a.m, this will all be over. So that's way later than 2:09 a.m. So you know, the schedule has gone to pieces.
Oh no, the schedule.
Yeah, well, we've had the schedule since scene 1, not just in text on the screen.
I feel like this could very easily be one of those moments where you've just
balloons.
Like not paid attention until that moment. But equally, this film was so bad that I can also believe it.
So now that it's been revealed that Pops is in with it with Clowntergeist, Clowntergeist starts crawling around on the floor of the ice cream parlour looking for the two girls. So he's doing that kind of like that monkey thing that he did in the dark when we first saw him.
Yeah.
And that's how he goes about getting them. He puts a jukebox on first, plays something, so he knows how to work a jukebox. He knows a foreign language, but doesn't know how to walk properly.
He knows demon tongue.
Yeah. And now the girls have another weepy heart-to-heart because they know they're, you know, the Clowntergeist in hot pursuit of them. They're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry that we fell out. Oh, the Clowntergeist. Oh my god, stranger danger. So then they have that. They reconcile.
Thank goodness.
And they try to escape again. They're trying to escape again, but this time they're about to escape. But then Pops has the redneck at gunpoint. And the redneck's being like, he's being really selfish. Like, save yourselves, girls. Let Pops pop me. But then the main girl kills Clowntergeist with a chisel.
Right.
She's got a chisel at the ice cream parlour, and it's at this point now that, you know, Pops, he's been with Clowntergeist for 30 years, it sounds, and he starts to say some really, really deep stuff. He walks off because, you know, it's his last shift, and we hear him, you know, he shoots himself. He blows himself away because he can't bear the thought of living without Clowntergeist.
Without ribcage.
That's what it is. So, and that's the end. That's the end, pretty much.
Thank you.
So, 2017, the year of the clown, the year of red balloons, the year of bloody sinks, the year of Pennywise again, and Ribcage the clown, of course. Ribcage the clown, and like I say,
probably one of the worst clown movies I've ever seen.
The It remake made, you know, over 700 million worldwide. Clowntergeist, I saw it made over 50 grand. So
have you noticed that you've started sliding right into the middle of the seat?
That
and
must
I'm
be
perching on the end now.
That's got to be 10 times its budget, because this is like a £5,000 movie, right?
If that.
So it made over 50. So they must be quids in. Year of the Clown. They did the right thing. They released it 3 days after the It remake, and it's paid off. It's paid off big time. It brings me to like one of my, like Jerry Springer, and my final thought. What other kind of entities or things would you like to see merged with Tergeist? Now,
nothing.
Now, you can't shorten the name because it's not Clowntergeist, it's Clowntergeist. So I was thinking like Predator Tergeist, or Zombie Tergeist, or Norman Bates Tergeist.
You are so silly.
Have you got a Tergeist request?
No more ever. Tergeist.
How about Clowntergeist 2?
Just Poltergeist. That's the only thing that should ever be that.
Not the remake though. This was better than the Poltergeist remake. Clowntergeist.
As soon as you showed me the 3 titles for the week, I knew that Clowntergeist was going to be a steaming
for
turd. But yeah.
Number 1 though.
Yeah. So can we leave that one dead and buried for me to forget once again?
I'm just going to try to get over the magic that was the sheriff and the director coming together.
Yeah.
So what was your number 2? Because I'm all Clowntergeisted out now.
The Call.
The Call.
With Tobin Bell and Lin Shaye.
Yeah, so let me get my notes up for that.
What a outing for these two. I mean, they've been in a lot. They've been in a lot of great stuff. They've done some great stuff.
Like Saw 10, when Jigsaw's a good dad to the little orphan kid.
But
he's going to give him loads of money.
This was an embarrassment.
What?
This was embarrassing. This was not good.
Well, what was embarrassing?
They were fine, but like
they were
the
fine.
film.
Yeah, and I'm not some crazy like fanboy of like Lin Shaye and Tobin Bell. I didn't really know Tobin Bell from smaller things in the 80s and obviously Jigsaw. In this, I thought when they were acting, there was quite a lot of gravitas to it when they acted together. So what the hell are they doing in this?
Well,
they deserve a lot better.
They absolutely do, because Lin Shaye as well, at one point when she like loses it, and again her performance is just too good for this film, because the script, the story, the other characters, bottom of the barrel.
Oh, I've got it. So we've got like a gang of people. We've got Tonya, Tutan son, who is our lead.
Okay, carry on, sorry, yeah.
Then we got her ex-boyfriend Zach, his brother, and the new guy to the crew, Chris, who's been brought along by Tanya, and they're all hanging out at like a carnival.
Well, he's new to the school as well.
New to the school.
He's just moved there, basically.
So they go to the fairground and smoke some weed.
This is supposed to be set in the 80s. I keep forgetting.
Well, yeah, it's very important that it's 1987 in this movie.
And
it's integral to the plot.
I couldn't buy a second of it. Like, those kids were so not... You know, we watch so many things actually filmed in the 80s. And there is a certain, like, feeling to it. It was not brought in this whatsoever.
Well, I thought, when I was looking at Tanya, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is a play on, you know, Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, and Boy George. I just thought this is a natural character from the 80s.
Yeah, super. Very, very just usual.
I did like the melding of Boy George, Madonna, and Cyndi Lauper, though. That's 3 extreme ways to go to fit into one. And the overall look wasn't extreme. It's just I could see what they're taking it from. The boy George was a nice touch.
But anyway, so
Especially on a girl.
this mishmash of looks girl, Tonya, and
Her sister's gone missing.
the three guys. So the new guy finds out that her younger sister went missing however long ago.
From the Edith
And
Cranston Daycare Centre. And Edith Cranston is Lin Shaye.
They blame it, the three of them, blame it on Lin Shaye's character because they were like, oh, you were negligent or maybe even worse than that. I don't know.
Maybe worse.
But they basically, since this incident, since the little sister went missing, they've been pranking / I guess terrorising Lin Shaye's character at her house. And they decide to drag the new kid along this time to get in on the fun of throwing rocks through the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very fun. But, of course, he has like a
moment of clarity.
He
Like,
puts the rock down.
You know, just because you're jumping off a cliff doesn't mean I want to jump off a cliff. Just because you're throwing rocks through a window doesn't mean I want to throw rocks through a window. But then he runs away with them. But they don't get too far before they bump into Lin Shaye on the lawn.
I'm pretty sure she catches them literally after they've thrown the rocks.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't get very far.
Yeah.
I think I just clearly stated they didn't get very far. Out pops
I don't think
Lin
they
Shaye.
get anyway, really, but yeah.
Yeah, out pops Lin Shaye. As what I say her name was Edith Cranston, the daycare centre runner.
Mm-hmm. And she's obviously really upset. And you can tell that she's starting to feel the pain of being terrorised constantly by these kids. And she loses it.
She runs through a bunch of things that they've done. She's
Goes
like,
mental.
you can do this to my house, but I'll always do this. You can do this and I'll do this. Or you can put rocks from my windows. I'll get new ones. At that point, the writer had run out of stuff to say. He's like, oh, I'll just get new ones.
Yeah, and also none of this, like the stuff they were doing sounds just really annoying. Like it would be a headache to continuously have to fix small things here and there.
Why don't you just call the police?
But that also wasn't that
it's
extreme.
1987, you don't get the police.
It wasn't that extreme to lead to what she ends up doing.
Maybe. She does say to them, see you in hell, though, before she sees them in. So as you mentioned now, it's 1987, right? We've just seen Lin Shaye on the lawn. Now we're inside the house, which has just been vandalised. And there's Jigsaw in 1987, and he's sitting by the fire having a scotch. And he's asking Lin Shaye for a kiss. You know, he's living life at this point, Jigsaw. It's 1987, no stresses.
What a couple, Tobin Bell.
And yeah, it was just nice to see. We then cut some arcade flirting. You know, we've got Tanya and the new guy Chris.
The new guys.
And Tanya's ex Zach is looking on at this and he's
not happy.
Not best pleased. And so at this point I've noticed that the comedy character, Zach's brother, is just given the worst comedy lines.
There was supposed to be a comedy character?
There was, yeah. So we had a quick segue into the arcade, but then we're back in Jigsaw's office and we've got Tobin Bell. He picks up the phone and he says, "Hello, Christopher." Like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So don't try and tell me this is not Jigsaw in 1987.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, after this call that Jigsaw has made, Tanya and the three lads are now all over at his house / Lin Shaye's house because, you know, she's...
You've skipped a massively important moment
I was going to let you come in now. It's not skipped. It's not skipped.
Planned?
It's a rewind.
It's a rewind. So Lin Shaye's character, apparently she's had enough. She couldn't handle it after the latest prank from these kids and she offed herself.
That was an intense scene again from Lin Shaye. Pretty good.
Yeah. And then
it's like grinding her teeth.
Tobin Bell calls the four of them over to let them know that they have been mentioned in her will.
Shock horror. You know, because why would Edith leave them anything in her will?
And they are rightly shocked, as you say.
If all she says they did was a terroriser.
Yeah. And, of course, Tonya as well is all, like, bitching, like, I don't want anything of hers. I don't want anything at all. And then he's like, you'll get $100,000. Okay.
No, she still doesn't want anything to do with it. But then Jigsaw, you know, he's smarter than them. So Jigsaw, you know, Tanya's about to walk away. She says, I don't give a damn about the $100,000 either. And he's like, well, actually, there was a suicide note. And it expressly blames you guys. So unless you want me to go to the police,
right.
I suggest you play this game while I go and have a scotch and you can mull this over. That's what he does. Also, we mentioned that when he's given this whole speech, you know, Edith has now passed, he starts going into like Edith's life a little bit. And he reveals that Edith, Lin Shaye, love to play games. So she's perfect for Jigsaw because, Jigsaw, he loves games.
Yeah.
He loves games. So they're a perfect match.
So this is like the Jigsaw prequel. This is what leads him to...
Yeah, this is 1987. So this is his first game. And the first game is not quite as elaborate as the one that he's got by the time Saw
And he's not really got
out.
much to do with it.
Yeah. But
just sets it up.
What happens is you've got to go to his office in the dark, one by one, and you've got to get on the phone, and you've got to stay on the phone for 1 minute while you talk to Lin Shaye. Then
she's been buried with a phone.
Yeah, and I said Tonya is out, but it's been wheeled back in. Pours himself some scotch, and they've got to go one at a time, and there's no snooping. Apparently, if you manage to make it through the minute, a clock will chime or something like that to let you know that you have made it through.
You walk out the back door as well, so no one knows.
So at this point in the movie, I'm still intrigued. I'm highly skeptical. Well, I was
just wondering, how are they going to make a full-length horror film if the phone calls only last a minute, and then I see what they did, but...
You don't get it. Zach is first to go.
Zach!
Tanya's ex, so he's first to go. And as he's making his way to the office...
Yeah, they've very clearly been given by Tobin Bell an order in which they have to go for some reason.
And as he's making his way to the office, before he gets to go up the stairs, there's a giant mirror. Zach sees himself and he's like... Ugh!
Yeah, so stupid.
Just so he knows that Mirror Zach knows that real Zach will bust him up.
Do you think
if he tries anything.
Tobin Bell went up to him and was like, I think you should do this in that mirror moment. It would be really memorable.
Are you saying that Tobin Bell was sabotaging younger actors' chances of getting roles?
Maybe he just wanted to see if he'd actually do it.
Hello, Zach. Why don't you act like a total prick in front of the mirror? So he starts on himself in the mirror, and he goes up to this Don Corleone type office which Jigsaw has got, and he picks up the phone, and he starts getting on the phone, and he thinks he's off the phone, but then we see his image his hologram come out of his body, and the real him is still there on the phone while he has flashbacks about his abusive father.
Yeah. Oh, because aren't two of the two guys, so the ex-boyfriend and the other guy, they're brothers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you
Zach
you
and the
see
other,
that?
the comedy guy, I did say they're brothers, yeah.
Yeah, and we get all these flashbacks of their dad, and it was the belt for the older boy, and we later get insinuation that there was worse stuff for the younger sibling.
I wasn't cleaning that.
For the
younger one. I thought it was just like just a beating, which is acceptable.
Yeah, that's fine. No, they definitely insinuated that for the younger brother. It wasn't straight away, but
well, they just tried to make try to put something controversial in the film, so they made a steaming pile of crap.
When I don't remember which brother, but when one of them gets to confront the dad, they can't. They're like, I can't hurt him.
Well, that's Zach.
Dumb.
I think that was Zach.
Scumbag.
But it's to show that Zach isn't just the into the mirror guy who threatens his mirror self. He's also, deep inside, he's still just a little boy.
We haven't even mentioned, I think, that when you pick up the phone to get on this phone call, you're kind of transported into Lin Shaye's world.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it's supposed to be, the afterlife universe or something.
Lin Shaye is Bob Shaye's sister. And obviously, they're all to do with Nightmare on Elm Street. They've been into Freddy's world. Now, over time, since 1984, Lin Shaye's worked out how to bring people into her world. And that's what she's doing in this with Jigsaw in 1987.
And that's why apparently time doesn't seem to matter, because they're in this alternate thing.
Alternate Lin Shaye universe.
And if he's the first one up there, then he has to confront his dad, doesn't he?
Yeah. You just said that, right?
Yeah, we did say that. But then he gets offed. He doesn't survive the phone call. No,
well, I wasn't expecting him to. We were expecting Zach to survive.
No, of course, but I don't remember how he dies. How did he get offed?
I can't remember. It's not really important, the deaths.
Great. It's a good horror movie.
He's on the phone, and then he dies. So he dies on the phone. While he's on the phone, his brother is milling about doing something. So we've got Tanya and Chris, the new guy, left, and they're talking to each other. And at this point, like I say, we just had elderly abuse, death of someone's wife, suicide. Why not just insert now Tanya in a comedy moment saying to Chris, "Here, hold my bubble gum." He takes it and she's like, "You can have it if you want," and walks off. And he's like, "Weird day." And then we're back to intensity. Because it's Zach's brother's turn. Yeah. And now he's asked, "How is your daddy?" And he gets really sad, and he's in like a Hellraiser type chain room. And the dad is back with a belt.
Yeah.
So he's off Zach.
So we get the dad twice. I feel like that's a bit lazy. They didn't have to make those two kids brothers. They could have had just like different things, but they were like, no, let's just stick with like the one horror element for both of them. Play that out as far as we can.
I'm pretty sure it took the movie for one of them to actually say, "Hey, how's it going? You're my brother," something like that, to even make me to realise that they are brothers.
Yeah, it was not obvious.
No.
Yeah. Then he doesn't survive.
So now the brothers are dead.
Yeah, as you
can't
expect.
recall how.
But this was the twist in the sense that when Tobin Bell gave them the order in which they were going to go, I was wondering if they were going to put the newest guy, the main guy,
Chris,
last, because he's obviously like the biggest contender to be a survivor. But no, they've put him next, and Tonya's last.
Yeah, so Chris goes, he's walking off to the office.
Don't worry, something different happens this time.
And he gets a weird phone voice, and he has a pregnancy car conversation. His flashback, he's driving a car with like a pregnant girl or something like this. Pregnant girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
The car crashes, and he doesn't... Before the car crashes, he's kind of like not into having a baby, it seems.
No, he's not into telling her parents or... Yeah,
he's scared.
He doesn't want the parents to know that there's a baby on the way.
So when the crash happens, he walks out scot-free, but she's come through the windshield, and she's still alive. He's like, nah, leave that, I think. And, walks away.
Okay, yeah.
You saying it didn't happen?
I don't remember it being like that, no.
He then has basic nightmare visions that we get.
Yeah, so as we had the scary dad for the other two, this one is obviously the horrifying moment for him. So, however, the ghost of this
Clowntergeist
girlfriend, the pregnant one who he was kind of part of killing, her spirit shows up in this Lin Shaye death world and tells him that all he has to do to escape is go and pick up the phone again, and it'll retransport him back to where he originally was in his body.
It's a magic phone.
It's magical, yeah. And so after a bit of like some scariness or whatever, he manages to get to the phone, and lo and behold, he's the first to survive the phone call. Yeah,
and so that's Tanya's turn. But before she takes her turn, a video has been revealed to her, and it shows Edith, aka Lin Shaye, handing a gun to Chris, telling him to take out Tanya. So she thinks that Chris is against her.
It's so unnecessary.
And she bumps into Chris.
Yeah, because like, he's trying to save her.
There's no game. There's no money. It's all a ruse. Then they've got to team up to get out of here before Jigsaw gets them.
Yeah, it's so silly. So then you get him trying to lead Tonya out. And then he's like, don't pick up the phone, don't call, blah, blah. But at some point, she, in an apparent moment of just like, is like, pick us up with the phone. What do you want? And I was like, oh, for God's sake. You had one thing. Don't pick up the phone.
It's easier said than done. I'd also like to say that, as we say, it's 1987 and Jigsaw's here. And he's playing his first game, the phone game. And he's got a secret wall compartment. The wall opens. So he is laying the foundations for, sprawling, almost like Metropolis-like basement dwellings where all the moving parts are there.
Yeah.
He's been doing it at least since 87. So you can see why by the time Saw comes around, he's nailed it. And he's got his phone demeanour down in this one as well. So he's always just comes to him like that, doesn't it? Where are we now? Jigsaw comes out of his secret wall in the office, as he does. He's talking on the phone with Edith. So
you literally talked yourself out of your own train of thought.
Even though Edith has passed, at least Jigsaw can still talk to her on the phone.
Yes.
That's more than most people get.
Yeah.
So we've got that, but then Chris shoots Jigsaw. So he shoots Jigsaw. They try to escape again. Tanya is now on the phone with Edith.
Yeah.
And that's when she's filled in by Edith about what really happened. Edith knows now because she's in the Edith death world. And we get the flashback of Tanya while she's a little girl with her sister who's been gone missing. And it turns out Tanya's younger sister was Daddy's favourite. Daddy's little girl, as she calls her. So she can't have that. So she pretty much throws her sister off a bridge.
Yeah. And then the thing is, it looked kind of like an accident. So her sister falls into the river, and I thought they could actually make this kind of have some feeling and realism if at least the older sister is regretful and is like, oh shit, what have I done? Even if it's just like, oh, I might get caught now. But she just strides off like, hey, great day for me.
And the police couldn't figure it out.
It is so...
The police couldn't figure it out. Yeah, so, and then, now,
What a bitch.
Once it's been revealed on the phone...
She's a murderer.
There's warp voice overload. Warp voice. And the phone rings. The phone rings one last time. It's Chris and Edith talking now. And Sarah, the car girl, turns up and she's got a ghost bloody mouth.
What the hell are
And
you
it ends.
saying? You're like, this is so... You're so confusing.
This is the movie, the call. That's
so
the end.
just to round it up for you guys, in case that didn't make perfect sense, the two first brothers were oft in their phone calls. Christian...
don't know how.
Chris
Chris is the main guy, the good guy. The good guy let the pregnant woman die.
That's enough. So Chris gets on his call, is warned by the spirit of his dead ex to get out, so he manages to come back. Then in trying to save Tonya, who gets herself in the realm, he goes back on the phone and gets sucked back into the other world. And we're left thinking, when we see the spectre of the woman who has initially helped him, but now is clearly evil, it's over. All 4 characters were got.
Yeah.
No survivors, except Tobin Bell, I guess, but he wasn't really in contention.
The car girl comes back as a ghost with a bloody mouth.
I just said that, yeah. She's evil.
So the call. So
stupid.
Movies that use the humble telephone, When a Stranger Calls,
I hate that movie
Scream,
as well.
Phone Booth, and then the call at number 1 for me.
Stupid.
Cool.
Okay, finally we
If
can
you want to know
move
the
on
history of Jigsaw,
to the third film.
he was married to an insidious woman. Merge. Much like Clowntergeist, merge.
So is this merge week then instead of K?
I guess it's Clowntergeist
Now,
because it's outshined everything.
What was the last one? Oh yeah,
Killer Inc., the one with the parlor and Anarchy Parlor.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. In
So
fact, it barely even came up when I searched Killer Inc.
So this is your number 1.
Yes.
So you're the kind of producer where someone walks in and he's like, look, I've got Hostel mixed with Saw with tattoos. Here's a bundle of cash.
I buy it.
Go and make that movie.
Take it.
Yeah, this is for you. This kind of movie's for you.
This one definitely won for me because I felt like when I was watching all of them, this was the only one that came anywhere even close to being horrifying. And that was mostly because of the...
You were horrified.
Because of the gore factor, which you were just mentioning. Saw,
Hostel plus Saw,
yeah,
plus needles, tattoo needles.
And Mr. LaSardo.
Robert LaSardo.
He's enjoyable.
Well, it opens up some very nice gloomy cinematography.
Mm-hmm. And it's in Eastern Europe, your favourite.
Yeah, I thought, I'm gonna somewhat enjoy this. Definitely. Then my enjoyment level went through the roof because it went from gloomy cinematography to Lithuanian rap.
I feel like I should put some shades on for
Remember
that.
the rap in the club? It's
Yes,
the Lithuanian.
I remember.
It's the Lithuanian Beastie Boys, and everyone is absolutely mad for it,
Loving
especially
it.
the American
Rave
tourists.
of your life.
The American tourists are there. They're like, shots at the bar, baby. Graduation, baby.
Yeah, getting wasted. But also, they weren't... I think they were supposed to have been like college buddies or something, right? Going on a last hurrah. But
Yeah, they're graduating.
2 of them were British.
I noticed one Brit girl.
There were
One Brit girl
definitely
with curly
2.
hair.
There were
Well,
2 Brit...
If there was 2, then that one was enough for me.
I remember it specifically because their accents were really grating on me.
When we had the Yanks, yeah, well, I had that as well. When we had the Yanks at the bar, we then cut to like the girls, probably 2 Brit girls you're talking about, and some other girls. They're sitting in the booth of the club, and they're all like, shots, having a great time. And then one of them gets up, and she's like, more shots? And she's replied with, duh, it's Europe. Of course, it's Europe, so duh.
And the guys
More
were
shots.
going nuts as well.
More shots.
And we get...
I love this song.
There's at least one couple. I think there's 2 couples, maybe. But either way, one of the couples has picked up a local girl and they're like, starting out their three-way. They're having a ball.
They're free. But
an amazing time.
They're approached in this booth, the girls, I think by one of the lads as well, who's also met someone. He's got a party invite. And it's a party with DJ and drinks. It's going to be off the hook.
Oh, okay. Was it? So
they're in the club.
Party?
They're in the club at the moment. And while they're in the club, they get invited to an even harder party with even better music.
And they go?
Right, and they go. Because, like, the Yanks are
like, so unimportant.
Fuck yeah!
It really doesn't
More
matter.
shots! And they go off to the harder party. And you thought the Yanks were loving it, right, at the bar. Wait till they get to this opulent party. Now it's certainly off the chain.
Okay, so is it at this party then where the single guy in their group has like found a chick, they're getting it on, and then this like super edgy, like half-shaven head, tattooed, made-up
Lithuanian tatted girl
stalks in
and just takes her man,
spots him, and just like chucks the girl off, and starts making out and being very rough.
Sexually aggressive.
Yeah, and she turns him round and lifts his shirt up and is like, yes, that will do nicely, and touches his back and is like...
You've just done the accent there, this is supposed to be a local Lithuanian girl, and every time she raised her voice or something like that, I was getting more of like an Aussie kind of voice was coming through, so I was wondering if this is just an Aussie playing a Lithuanian...
Well, did you find out?
I didn't bother looking. No, I like to keep it mysterious.
Yeah, you do. You're weird like that.
The performance. I like to keep the performance mysterious. When they get to this crazy new party, one of them, I think one of the girls, wanders off by herself, and she gets lost on her way to the bathroom. She's walking up like flights of stairs and stuff.
Oh god, yeah, that was so annoying to me.
And she comes to this room where it has
it's like,
many portraits on the wall. At what point
do you realise this is so obviously not the way to the bathroom and turn around instead of just continuing to snoop in someone's private house? But yeah, they get to the portraits.
Lithuanian girl, her name was Uda.
Right.
Uda the Australian.
But you're about to talk about the portraits.
The portraits, yes.
The portraits.
Yes, she's looking for the bathroom. She comes across a landing with just several portraits of men on the wall.
So bad. I mean, we've seen worse, though. But
what, like the Candyman remake?
I never understand... And the short tails one where they drew the ballerinas.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand. You can literally use some kind of tool on the computer to make a photo look like an oil painting, get that printed on canvas, and just slap a bit of like layering with clear varnish or glue or something.
Are you saying that these aren't the kind of portraits that people would marvel over in this film? Killer Inc.
Let's just say if I got one of those
Anarchy
portraits,
Parlor.
There's no way I would hang it for anyone to see.
Well,
but yeah, her mate comes and gets her and is like, "Come on, we should get back to the like main bit before the security comes to get us."
Yeah, but then I don't know what happens after this. Yeah, so yeah, she's then taken off.
I know what happens because the horny
they go
bloke...
to Uda's parlour.
Yeah, so the horny bloke with Uda is like, "Oh, I'm going to go back to her tattoo parlour." And the girl is like, "Ooh, I kind of fancy a tattoo in the middle of the night in a country I've never been to before. I'm going to come with you and be a cock blocker," which the guy is not happy about either. And all the friends, I mean, again, they're kind of telling her, like, don't go, it's not necessarily safe, and stay with us. But they don't really try very hard.
Well, they're going to get a tattoo in a foreign land, like you said. There's no stopping you once that is. But yeah, so the girl walks with them. So, but the guy she's with, Robert LaSardo, is not impressed by him because he's like, "Bro, your tats are so sick. Look at this one. I got this one here." And Robert LaSardo doesn't break character. We all know what kind of characters Robert LaSardo plays. He's been Robert LaSardo. But he's then taken...
He's got some zen in this one.
Yeah, but he's taken the girl off to talk to her. And she mentions that she wants a culturally meaningful tattoos. We've got to know that she's progressive, and she's caring. And all of these kind of things. She wants a culturally relevant tattoo, which kind of... It then brings in Robert LaSardo. He loves it.
He loves it.
And when I say we're just getting regular Robert LaSardo, which, always enjoy that, and this one he's putting on a slight accent, a bit of a more Espanol accent. And he reminded me of just Pep Guardiola. The intensity of the man was Pep. Pitch side. Trying to get his orders across to his troops. It was very Pep Guardiola. That's the main thing that I took away from this. Robert LaSardo is Pep Guardiola. There we
English
go.
football
If you ever want to tell the
manager.
life story of Pep, there's only one way to go. It's Robert LaSardo.
At least I assume he's managing in England still. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, the shop is actually owned by...
It doesn't matter.
I need to
Well,
sneeze.
it... Bless you.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter that Robert LaSardo's performance reminded me of Pep.
And no, it doesn't matter who Pep is. And that kind of doesn't really matter either.
I mean, Pep's so well known that you just call him Pep.
Yeah, in Europe. I don't know what the Yanks are like with football, soccer. Anyway, let's get back to it. So LaSardo is the one who actually owns the tattoo shop, and Uda is his apprentice. And whilst LaSardo is being charmed by the girl who wants a culturally relevant...
Not really charmed.
But he does like her.
No, he's just acting. He's acting.
No, what are you talking about?
I know he keeps her around and stuff, but I mean...
He really
that's
likes
about
her.
as
Like,
that's about as nice as he
special.
gets.
You're different. You're special. Anyway, so Uda's taken the guy who still thinks he's going to get laid.
She's opening her legs on some primitive machine and stuff like this.
Yeah, but she's taken him down to some, like, catacomb type thing.
Yeah, where the primitive machine is.
And there's, like, old...
where she opens her legs.
Execution machines is what you're talking about. And things like this. And she's being very rough with him. And, I don't actually remember how... you go.
Well, yeah, Uda has her way with the idiot guy.
Has her way?
Let's get back to Robert LaSardo.
Okay.
And he's talking to the girl who you said that he really likes her.
Yeah.
He walks off. He says, I bought you a drink. Brings her a drink. Just put it on the table. She just starts drinking it. It's like luminous blue.
Yeah.
It's like toilet bleach in a glass. She just
Yeah.
handed it. It's like, thanks. It's like, who would drink blue liquid?
And apparently there is
like
a date rape drug
a
that
whizzed up
turns,
Smurf.
that turns drinks blue. So
that's how much he
avoid
likes
blue.
her. He's bought her
Brought.
one of those, and she just put it down. Of course, she gets knocked out. So everyone wakes up. Bro guy and the girl wake up in this basement on gurneys, kind of face
That's
down.
it.
Robert LaSardo's down over his apprentice, Uda. Then we get on with it.
Yeah. So the girl is there, tied to this gurney, and the dude is on his front, so his back is exposed, and we find out that he's been given some sort of drug that paralyzes him, but he can still feel every moment, which seems really dumb to me, because, LaSardo is saying, like, oh yeah, that's essential to it, but that seems like the opposite of what you'd want to do for their purposes, which is that LaSardo is cutting a nice square canvas of skin directly from his back. And he has to start by inserting the knife, the scalpel, all around. Then he gets like one of those cake serving devices.
You're the baker.
Yeah, or the cement thingy. And he like goes around. So you've got the guy on the gurney, awake, feeling everything. The girl's watching, we can see everything, and this is why, this sort of moment is why I said this is probably the best of the three, because it was quite disgusting.
So are you a gore hound?
Well, compared to the other two, I suppose, in this case, yeah. But that's not
So
normally my go-to.
The more kind of nuanced storytelling of Clowntergeist wasn't really your thing. You just want to see
of
gore.
Clowntergeist?
You just want to see the gore of Killer Inc.
I don't think we watched the same film.
You don't want to know about rich storytelling. I get it.
But also, I noticed that when he'd ripped that bit of flesh off, first of all, I don't know why he took such a small part. I was like, you could have had a bigger canvas. But then even once he's peeled it off the guy's back, he gives it to Udo, who's brought some kind of platter for it to sit on, and it's even smaller. I was like, that's a teeny weeny little bit of flesh.
He only needs the bit of flesh to make the portrait, though.
Well, that's what we find out, but yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't clear.
he draws portraits on them.
Yeah. So they're both trapped to this table. He cuts off his tattoo, but Robert LaSardo's character is called the artist, or the artiste, because he's not just, slicing and dicing. He's also, putting knowledge out there. He's a teacher. He's got a lot of reservoirs of information about the history of tattooing and removing skin and the history of his family. So he's not just, he's more like a Hannibal Lecter.
With a tattoo gun.
Yeah. That's another thing they could have said to you in the meeting before you handed over the money to make
Hannibal
the movie.
Lecter with a tattoo gun.
Yeah. We then get
Will you buy it?
A nice segue, a T&A scene. Just tits and ass.
Oh,
Just tits and ass.
Oh, yeah.
Massive Massive tits and ass.
One of the guys goes to just like, he's like pissed off, so he just goes to a strip club.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
and then the stripper ends up going home with him.
The Brit girl, as you've already mentioned, and some guy have a threesome, right? As you said. And they notice that the other two are missing. The two have gone to the tattoo parlour. And this is now when they
start searching
for them, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of the search of the streets of Lithuania?
What did I think of the search?
Yeah, you know, kind of the tactics of how they're going to go and find their friends and stuff like that. You know, like taunting the locals and things so that they get help. They see those Lithuanian layabouts on the street. And they shout something in Lithuanian to them. And Jesse, the bad boy, goes and punches one of them in the face. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, that was super weird. There's like a group, and he's the one who says to the rest of the Yanks / Brits, "Oh, you know, just ignore them, walk past, and let's just make sure that we get through this." And then, as you say, they shout something which isn't subtitled, so I don't know what it was. And he goes bonkers. He goes back and starts beating this guy down to the ground.
The girls don't like it.
Well, why would you do that? So yeah, they eventually move along, and that's why he ends up in a strip club, because he's been told off for beating up the locals.
And you can tell they've had a real argument, because then we get 360 cam
for
ages while the shit's hitting the fan.
I had such a good chance to look at you, gauge your reaction.
My favourite camera work.
I know
my
you love
absolute favourite camera work.
And it was done so well in this case as well.
As you mentioned,
totally
so
necessary.
Jesse's annoyed and he's pretty much broken up, so he goes to a strip club.
Yeah.
Then the other three meet Uda. They have an argument. And Uda smashes the girl and the guy, and the Brit girl manages to run away for her. The one Brit girl that I've got, you've got two Brit girls, but I've got the curly-haired Brit girl manages to run away for a little bit. And then we're back to Jesse in the club while they're having trouble. And at this point in the movie, in production, you know, the titty scenes are just hemorrhaging the budget, because Jesse is just in breast... happy land.
All sizes, shapes. Yeah, there's a lot of pole dancing.
There are breasts there suffering from gigantism.
What I found really weird, though,
this was a real strip club. Sometimes, you know, you can tell that they've done... The budget has not gone very far in strip club scenes in movies. This one, it seems like it was priority.
But why were they all wearing masks?
To keep it mysterious.
That was weird.
Mystery.
But yeah,
a little bit of mystery goes a long way.
He ends up getting dances from this... Out. Was she British as well, the stripper, or American?
Well, you tell me.
She was either British or American, because she wasn't, like, Eastern European.
As far as I'm concerned, Uda was Australian, so who knows where anyone's from in this movie.
I'm talking about the stripper now, and she's just like, "Oh, do you want to dance?" Grinds on him for a bit, and then she's like, "Hey, so, do you want to go out after this?"
Yeah.
Does that happen a lot?
The chemistry is just like that. It's on fire. She must know possibly that he's rich. But yeah, we see them hook up, as in leave with each other. Then we're back to the dingy basement. And the Brit girl has now been tied up. She's like this. And she can see in front of her Kelly or Stephanie, somebody, both of them.
It doesn't matter. We haven't said names yet.
You mentioned...
Yeah.
You know, the voice, the accent, and I've written she's there, and the Brit girl's tied up. She's going, Steffa, why are you on that table? What are they gonna do to her? Steph, Kelly.
That was really painful.
It was just as painful in the film.
But she's an
idiot. Give it to you straight.
Because they're all tied down, tied up. They're all, you know, in various states of consciousness. And when Uda comes into the room, this Brit girl's like trying to swing towards him, like, "Fuck you!" I was like, that's really helpful. That's a great idea.
Well, she's got spunk. She's not just gonna hang there and take it. And she's gonna let LaSardo know.
Has our main girl by this point, who LaSardo has a thing for, gotten her face tattoo?
Yeah, the cross thing.
He gives her a face tattoo, which apparently is supposed to be like a gift from him, and
he's very deep into the spirituality of tattooing, isn't he? As I said, he's a teacher. There's many things you can learn from the artist in this movie.
Oh yeah, and she's tied up in a chair basically the whole time, and she can see all of this happening.
One of the girls that the Brit girl was screaming at, Stephanie, she comes to as well, and Uda slices her, and then the Brit girl starts sobbing with a certain noise.
Oh God, no more.
Lots of
No.
just guttural screaming. I mean, and they got this girl from
No.
the east end of London in 1931.
Oh God, yeah. And we also find out through all of this when LaSardo goes and like is about to take the canvas from another one of their backs, and he says, "Oh, this one's, you know, tainted or whatever because they've got a beauty mark or some such." So he says to Uda, "You know, this is perfect. You can practice." So
Look
clearly,
after the place
she
while I'm
really
gone.
is an apprentice in the art of
Skinning.
people. And she ruins it as well. She doesn't do a good job. She hasn't got the patience.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, it's kind of dumb on the artist's part to have left Uda in charge because she's already shown that she can be a bit of a hothead.
Yeah.
Something comes up and he's like, right, you can stay in, like I say, in practice. I've got to go out and be Heisenberg from Breaking Bad because now we've got LaSardo / the artiste out and about in Lithuania. He's got like the pork pie hat thing on, a pair of glasses and a tash, and he looks like the disguised thingy bob from Breaking Bad, and he's walking around just handing out packages, which turn out to be, well, as I've gleaned, are just portraits that he's delivering to people who have, you know, who have paid him for his services. So he's out and about delivering parcels. While he's doing this, I think the brick girl manages to escape.
Yeah, the spunky girl.
Again.
She does.
She manages
gets
to
out.
escape. She's taken Uda down.
Yeah, she's taken Uda down.
Remember how she takes Uda down? Well, just chokes her out, I think. Just chokes her out.
Yeah.
So now she's out on the streets. And the Lithuanian layabouts that Jesse has been punching in the face previously come across her running through the streets. They kind of go after her, but we're not really sure if they're threatening because, again, there's no subtitles. And it's not like it was threatening. I wasn't getting the vibe that they're definitely going to...
Yeah, I really wish
kill
that
her.
we'd had subtitles because I'd love to know. I guess that adds to like, oh, but this is what she's feeling because she doesn't know what they're saying, so it feels threatening. But
But
it
she
must
makes
have been-
she no matter what happens, she ends up making them threatening because she starts lashing out at them and she starts punching them in the face in hysterics, and that's when they floor her and they're about to off her. But then Heisenberg shows up in his car. He's seen it in his car. He's come back from his delivery, seen it going on, and he goes into the alleyway.
No, I got a worse vibe, but
and he blows them away. He blows
he
them
does.
all away.
All of them, including
Serves him
the
right for leaving
ex-captive.
Uda in charge, doesn't it? You know how she even got the apprenticeship in the first place is she hasn't shown patience.
Yeah. Well, she's replaceable, clearly.
So he's mad at Uda now, obviously, because she's completely messed up. So he takes his new favourite, the tattooed face girl, to his portrait room. And he starts
Yeah.
giving her the history about his family.
Telling her everything.
And the portrait.
And I think this is when we find out
Talks a load of guff.
that one of the original group of friends is actually the reason they're all there. He like lets it slip by saying, "Oh, but this wasn't supposed to be the way," you know. So I think he basically was like, "Well, you can have this one mate, the first guy who gets skinned. You can have him because, you know, I need a portrait, but the rest aren't going to be involved." And that's why LaSardo originally had been like, "Oh no, you guys, you know, leave." And then he's like, "Well, you came back, so, you know, what do you get?"
But wait, let's not forget about Jesse, Strip Club Jesse, and his tantalising titty time. Because now we're back to their relationship. He's left with the stripper. And he's taken her to the parlour because she wants to get her clit pierced.
Yeah, but that's not the reason. He said he has to go there to look for his friend.
Oh, so she's like, well, while I'm here, I might as well...
Yes, that is why.
There we go. So then she does get it done by Uda, but Uda's pretty forceful and aggressive with it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd go to Uda for a private parts piercing, personally.
Well, also, that to be fair, that's original. I've never seen that done in a movie, as someone have their clit pierced.
So this is why it's
And
number
then
one for you.
they end up fighting, and Uda gives her a knee right in the clit.
Yeah.
Freshly pierced.
Yeah, freshly pierced area to the
That
knee.
must have been...
While she's you would have thought, right, you're Jessie. The stripper's just told you, while I'm here, I might as well get my clit pierced. And instead of like, whoa, I need to see this, he just goes off and wanders about. I'm like, you're about
He
to
was
see...
very casual about it.
You're about to see a vag piercing. When are you going to get to see this again?
But also, the way they were like walking around and interacting was almost more like they're in like a relationship that's been going for many years, rather than like, oh, we've just met in a strip club.
Yeah.
with
While
your
he's
tits in my
off
face.
snooping, though, Jesse finds himself in the basement, the Saw-like torture basement. He meets LaSardo there, the artist, but it turns out he's in on it as well. They're friends. Jesse is a man about town in Lithuania. He knows all the big wigs in Lithuania. He's got the artist under his thumb. You know, make me a portrait whenever I say, because my daddy's rich. And then LaSardo, the artiste, hands Jesse the portrait that he's been waiting on, and the big reveal of this portrait is what did you in, what surged it to number one for you.
What a comedy moment. I mean,
This is the first time ever I put a laughing face in my notes.
This portrait is, I think it was even more astounding than the other ones we've seen previously, because we've got the person it's supposed to be based on, we've got the subject standing right there with his portrait, and he's really happy with it. He's like, yeah, this is sick, this is. And I was like, I'm pretty sure a 5-year-old could do better than that.
I absolutely cannot draw. To save my life, I cannot draw. I could have done the artwork for this movie, though. I could have done the artwork for this movie. But no, Uda, luckily she's not dead.
Killed me.
She's not dead. Uda is back, and it's a face-off now between Uda and Tatface Girl, because Uda's
jealous.
Not any longer in the artist books. Tatface Girl's in the artist book. So they have a fight. Uda is tied up and killed. So that's the end of her. Now, Tatface Girl also ends Jesse. So that's the end of him.
Mm-hmm. Well, he brought them all into this.
At
so
least
he
got
deserves
to,
it, really, doesn't he?
go to Booby Land before he passed away. That's a nice memory before you have to leave this planet. Tatface and now we're like a little bit into the future, and some new bros are walking into the parlor.
Yeah.
Some new bros are like, they're on the holiday. This is Lithuania. It's going to be lit. Let's get a tattoo. They walk into LaSardo's tattoo parlor, and who's there? Tatface Girl. She's working, and she's got her own portrait hanging on the wall,
which Uda had, by the way. We didn't mention it because it's such a small moment, but they do go over Uda's, which was also a shocking.
She's the
portrait.
new Uda. She's nuda.
But it made no sense. They showed no transition from her
She's
being the
nuda.
victim to her being like, yeah, this is great. They didn't show any moment
I'm
of
giving you
that.
cues, Cara. I'm giving you cues. Just choose to ignore them.
Yeah, I often do.
She's the new Uda.
Stupid.
So great stuff. I will say though, you mentioned there were sound problems with Clowntergeist.
Yes.
There were certainly sound problems with this because Robert LaSardo was not picked up. He's either not projecting.
Oh yeah, it was hard to hear.
It's just mixed so low.
Actually.
I just had to turn the television right up just for LaSardo.
But basically,
he is being intense though.
If someone was like, I have to watch a film right now, and these were the 3 options, Killer Inc. would absolutely be my recommendation.
I guess you don't like your friends who you're recommending movies to. I'll be like, watch Clowntergeist. You will not regret it.
We wouldn't be friends anymore.
And, like I said, while we're at it, let's just do some more merge. More to Geists, please.
Right, so that's it for this week. I'm sure you're very intrigued to watch all of those. We never actually do this, but where did you find them? What streaming?
Well, this bloke called Jeff Bezos, he put it on a list which says movies you might like. So I listened to Jeff. He's not very good at selecting movies because most of them are like this quality.
So it's on his streaming service if you have that and you want to watch any of this crap.
What, have people been asking where can I watch this or something?
No, but I realised maybe that's
are we just information now?
To do.
What, because you think people are going to watch this review and they'll be like, yeah, I need to go and watch that movie now.
Yeah, maybe. Clowntergeist, you've jazzed people.